type 2 influence you would have is if your parents were not one of those that traveled out when the British was sending people out to study, to come back and take over the systems. Many stayed back. So they knew the local talent, the local superstars. They took care of the groundwork, is what it is. But when our parents came back from abroad, they brought that culture of signing artists, and doing things the Western way. The great Fela Kuti, who became the crooner of Afrobeats, learned his trade in England. Victor Waifo from Edo State also learned his trade in England. But there were many indigenous successful musicians after they went home. In my time, there was Jide Obi, there was Terry Maxson, there was Felix Liberty, there was Mike Okri. My brothers would say names like Rex Lawson, Ebenezer Obey, and it is fair to say even most of the famous indigenous musicians, like the real ones, like Fela and Waifo, were the ones who learned their trade in England. So this was your two type of major musical influence. The conclusion is kids from type 1 have a more Western music, dance, attitude, culture, etc. That's their attitude. And less of the local indigenous music, while the kids who grew up in type 2 are the exact opposite. Life before Afrobeats. These eras like this 70s was like original sound, voices hitting notes, cigars, suits, open chested shirts, with big collars. That was fashion in the 80s. And then there was the breakdance. You remember breakdance, Chaka Khan, I Feel For You, and that whole electric, slide. I'm telling you, we was in Nigeria, we had the studs, and we had all the stuff to go with it. Well, I want to say that's a quick one about life before Afrobeats in Nigeria, how we're influenced. I will talk again about the DJs and how we get our music, the cassettes, the turntables, the parties, the sneaking through the fence, but that's for another edition. But now I want to talk about life before Afrobeats in England.